The Sierra Leone Parliament on Thursday, 19th September 2019, engaged in the final debate and totally approved the passing into law of the much talked about and somehow eagerly awaited Amended Sexual Offences Act of 2019. The bill was first introduced in the well of Parliament by the Office of the Attorney General and Minister of Justice after the lifting of a state of emergency on rape, which was invoked by the President of Sierra Leone, Julius Maada Bio, on the 19th February 2019. According to the president, this was in a bid to curb crimes of sexual penetration of young girls, which was becoming increasingly alarming by the day, according to activists. The amended and approved version of this act, according to its memorandum of objective, is it being an act to amend the Sexual Offences Act of 2012 to increase the maximum penalty for rape and sexual penetration of a child from 15 years to life imprisonment, and to make provision for the introduction of offences of aggravated sexual assault, which is sexual assault involving serious violence or the threat of serious violence or injury to the victim. Meanwhile, through advocacy and consultation with different rights groups over the past couple of months, the punishments for sexual penetrators have now been categorized into different levels depending on the age of the offender and the discretion of the judge. The proposed amended version of the Act also lays premium on the area of prosecution of sexual offences, as matters of such would now go directly to the High Court without preliminary hearing by the magistrate courts. These changes are in line with commitments previously made by the Sierra Leone People's Party through their campaign manifesto released in 2018, which promised to increase the capacity of the Family Support Unit (FSU), the Ministry of Justice and the Judiciary to investigate and prosecute reported cases and punish convicted perpetrators without any exception, including by not accepting any out-of-court settlement in such cases. 5 months on, after the passing into law of this amended act, how has it been felt by those convicted for the heinous crime of rape in the country, considering the high prevalence of rape reported in many parts of the country before its passing? Sergeant Michael Williams is attached to the Family Support Unit at Tombo Police Station in the Western Area Rural Districts. Since the passing of the amended act, he says he has noted a sharp decrease in reported cases of rape in that part of the country.
Before this term, for the week, we dey get 3, 4, 5 SPs, but with the pronouncement of the President in this 2019 Amendment Act, it reduced drastically, meaning people no longer get the awareness, people don't fear this new punishment where they not enact in Parliament. So the reports not frequent to the Ghana police station.
From an activist's point of view, the submission of Sergeant Williams may be a bit different, more so when many believe that issues of compromising rape cases at community level is rife. Asma James is the founder of the Asma James Foundation.
Well, it depends on where you're coming from, but I believe yes, people now report cases, but we still have the issues around compromise. Even with the law, and now it's a crime for people to compromise sexual offences cases, but education around the law is key. So since it came into law, we've not really had much on the translation of what the law says. Awareness
of the existence of the Amended Sexual Offences Act 2019 is another major concern, as highlighted by Asma James. In Makeni, the district headquarter town of Bombali, some parents who say their children have been victims of rape say they are unaware of the law or the changes to it, which should have helped to ensure justice for their children and their families.
So I be left demanding, oh go now, the man don't come call me, oh go now, will not see the man again.
This parent in Makeni Bombali district, Sierra Leone, whose identity we decided to protect, explains her experience after a 13-year-old daughter said she was raped by a man believed to be in his late 20s, but it happened that the accused man was nowhere to be found after the alleged acts. despite the involvement of the police. This parent furthers that until now, the case still remains at the Makeni police station without any success story in trying to arrest the accused man, as he could not be located by the police or stand trial for the charges.
In last year, I get one of me pikin back wey dem kill na Rubure. This year back, na raping back. The pikin.
Another parent in Makeni says that 2 of his daughters have been raped in the time frame of just 2 years. He says that the older daughter, who is 15 years old, is currently in a critical health state after a ordeal, while his younger daughter, who he says was gang raped in a nearby village, later died as a result. She was just 4 years old at the time. According to this parent, he still does not have any information as to the progress made by the police to bring those accused of raping his 2 daughters to book, despite the government's push for improved implementation of the newly amended Sexual Offences Act. He says he is not even aware that such a law exists. So how do the police prosecute sexual penetration or rape cases with the aid of a supposed efficacious law in that direction?
We cannot do we beat, we now for investigate, charge to court the prosecution of the matters, they are lies with the court. The police officer go ensure that when the matter don't go court, then call upon them, they go testify as a witness. This new amendment act we come out sometimes in November or December, between November and December, and we don't send most of the files to the director of public prosecution, and you know see there is slight change in handling case and inquiry file. Before this time we send files, send them back calm from legal advice, send to magistrate court. But now direct we'll send files to director of legal prosecution, then they peruse the file, whatever advice that they advise. If there is evidence, then they send and direct High Court.
However, many activists feel that the police have not been robust enough in prosecuting cases of rape. Asma James gives an example of an infamous alleged gang rape incident which was recently reported in both districts south of Sierra Leone and involving an elderly woman.
As an activist also, we are worried about the police because I will give you an example of the recent case wherein some secret society men were involved. As we speak, they've not charged that case to court. And also, there was a time when we had that they wanted to release the perpetrators. So it's worrying that when these cases go to police first, police has the responsibility to charge the matter to court. It's difficult, so there's always a stumbling block there because sometimes they don't charge on time. Sometimes you have this back and forth, the police and the community. And this 55-year-old woman is a test case now for the Sexual Offences Act.
Other non-governmental organizations which work to give vulnerable children legal support, such as Defense for Children International (DCI), agree that more needs to be done in terms of putting the right mechanism in place with regards to prosecuting rape cases in rural areas like Makeni and its environs.
If a case of sexual penetration happened in a village like Bombali Bana in Bombali district, it is actually very difficult because the parent will have to walk miles to come to a bigger town where they can report this kind of case. Now we're talking about Makeni Township. There are other towns and villages who are extremely vulnerable, who cannot even access transport facilities to come to court to go every day. And when you want to ensure that the law is effectively implemented and has its efficacy, as you rightly said, it goes beyond just reviewing the law.
Kadiatu Conte is a field liaison officer for the Rainbow Initiative in Makeni. She makes a point about the idea of compromise emanating from community members to the law enforcers, which normally derails the efforts of supporters like the Rainbow Initiative in ensuring that cases involving rape actually make it to the courts.
Yeah, the challenges and because one, like we go don't provide we own service to the survivor, then would they expect say therefore only perpetrator go to court, but like most of the time they compromise the issue So even like we go, we talk, say at times we go say for no even see get the survivor, they go tell you say perpetrate or not dey. So we big challenge when they get na compromise.
In 2019, the number of sexual assault incidents involving children below 18 years in Sierra Leone was 3,636 according to the Rainbow Initiative. This number is considerably higher than the 2,900 cases of sexual assault that the Rainbow Initiative documented the previous year, 2018. However, interpretations from many quarters have differing opinions on this development. Some believe it's because victims are now better equipped with the necessary information to report incidences of rape, while others think much needs to be done to reverse the upward trend of reported rape cases in different parts of the country. The big question now on the lips of many is, what success story should campaigners against rape and sexual penetration celebrate after the passing into law of the Amended Sexual Offences Act of 2019? For Gla TV Online and with support from Internews as part of their 2020 fellowship program, I am Abdullah Gla reporting.